I don't have the words to tell you that I think I lost my way. I know you're there behind the mirror, but the cracks they begin to show.
Hello, welcome to round number 4 of the Anti-Stall Racing TCR series. It's time for Silverstone and Silverstone International, to be precise. Not the national circuit that we used last time. That was quite a small and unique, very fast flowing track with a few corners. This one's got a few more. The international layout, it's brilliant. It's got the last sector of the lap and the first 2 corners as well. It just cuts through the centre of the circuit. Misses out Maggots and Beckett's, but it's got the hanger straight. And, well, yeah, all of Hanger Straight, and yeah, it's good, very good circuit I think for racing. A few more corners than the national, and it should be good racing today. I'm as always joined by Paulo. We're back to a street. We're back to a normal circuit after Long Beach and the Suit circuit. Quite a wide circuit this one compared to Long Beach, so it should be good for some overtaking. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it on your screen, Paulo. I hope you should be in the Discord. I don't know if you'll be able to read it or not, but the championship standings are on screen as we head into qualifying for round number 4. It is Brandon, which has got a bit of a lead now in the standings, but if you look behind him, everybody is extremely close. 2 points between second and third, 1 point between fourth and fifth, joint on points in 6th and 7th, 8th just a point apart. It's extremely close throughout, which is great to see.
I was just looking for the map. Because, yeah, this is a different layout, sure. But last season, I did think we used the short version of the song. Right?
Yeah,
Correct?
last season we used the
National
layout. This season we used the international layout, and I'll try and find a track map as well, just for people to have on.
Okay, now I see what you mean. So it cuts, instead of the loop corner, which is turn 4, it goes to turn 5 and then Maggots, right?
Yeah, the exit of Maggots onto the hanger straight, Maggots Beckett's.
Okay, yeah, now I see, yeah. Last season we used the other pit lane, now we are using the regular pit lane that we see on the Grand Prix circuit.
Yeah, so yeah, last season we used the old pit lane, the normal one, and now we're using the lovely brand, well, it's not really brand new now, is it? But sort of brand new pit lane, which is all in its all glory, and it does look at that. It looks absolutely stunning with its roof. But yeah, we did last season we've upgraded, is what we've done. We've upgraded to the new pit lane.
Gonna be a longer lap times, that's for sure.
Yeah, a little bit longer lap times, one at 10s. I can't remember exactly what last season was. I think it's only about 8 seconds, I think, or so longer. It's not too much longer, if I'm not wrong. Could be wrong. Hello to everybody in the chat as well. So at the moment, Brandon is on pole for now, but we do have another 10 minutes left of qualifying, so that could all change. We seem to have 21 cars, it would seem, here today. Nice good number of cars. We were into round number 4 of 10. I went and got my haircut just before this, so I feel nice and fresh, but I also feel like I've got hair down the back of my shirt.
Well, not that we can see your haircut here.
No.
We can only hear your lovely voice.
That was a massive compliment there, as Brandon absolutely locks the rear brakes and slides it through the last couple of corners to come to the end of the lap. Interesting circuit this. Don't see it too often in the TCR cars. Lots of long straight, so slipstream will be a thing today. Do you think that's going to be able to decide qualifying? Who can get the best toe?
Yes, definitely. As always with these cars, they are really heavily dependent on the car ahead for the slipstream. It really does improve lap times even from a long distance, and this track has big straights for it. What I will say is this is probably the widest track so far that we've had. So we can see a lot of 2 wide, even 3 wide in some cases. Other tracks it was harder to do that, even though there were attempts to.
Yes, yeah, we've had some great action so far this season. Yeah, it's the widest circuit, definitely. Probably on the calendar, as there's a little bit of a slide there from Robert just ahead of Brandon. Is it maybe? Let's see. We go to the new Finnish Norway circuit. That's not too wide. Yeah, it probably is the widest circuit we go to, which is going to be chaotic or brilliant. I'm not sure how the first couple of corners are going to go, of course, from a standing start. Hello to those in race control of George and Andy. Thank you. To see you guys as well, as there's a bit of a train forming as they go across the line. Who can get the best slipstream? Only one person at the moment in the 1 minute 9s. Will that change as Marco crosses the line? It doesn't, but he does improve up to 5th. So they're extremely close times, as you kind of expect, because there's not that many corners, meaning there's not that many places you can gain time.
Exactly. It's just the keeping the train, so to say, ahead. The car ahead, the one that gets, first place, really needs the distance from the cars behind, otherwise they can't get them through all of these laps that we're gonna have on this track. Like,
Agreed.
only fast corners that we have are turn 2, which is hard to keep a slipstream there because, dirty air. And of course at the end of the second straight, the back straight, which is also a fast corner, but keeping it too close might be too dangerous since you can either hit the car ahead of you, don't want that, or you cannot do the corner properly since it's a really big one, big right.
So, at the end of the hangar straight is, yeah, the important corner you're saying. But that will be the corner to go for moves, and if they can't get it there, they've got a very good chance into the last couple of corners. The chicane, the slowest part on the circuit, probably the best overtaking opportunity as well at the end of the lap. Should be close to the lines quite soon after it as well. So you see there's a little train going down hangar straight now. Marcelo's at the front of it, but there's a few cars behind him. I'm not sure if we've got to see. Yeah, just 4 cars behind him there, and Costa involved in that train as well. So everyone trying to get a bit of slipstream here in qualifying. Everybody extremely close. A bit of a gap at the top of Brandon's got about 5/10 gap at the moment. Not sure where he's found that from, but he has got one. Hello to everybody in the chat. If you do want to join the series, of course, probably not for this week, but for the rest of the season, there are spaces available in series. Also, that comes to the line. I think car behind is probably going a bit quicker as they cross the line. Are they into the 1 minute 9s?
Also, I think next week or after this race, there will be discounts for the entries.
Yes, as it hits the halfway point, that's normally where we'd see some. So yeah, of course, still lots of points up for grabs as well. It is a quite tight championship, but you never know. If you're fast enough, you might be able to get into the top. I think it's 7 needing to be to get some prize money. Yeah.
Still possible, even with 5 races. Never know what can happen on these races. Even for the drivers that are already participating.
Yeah.
If we saw Brandon just have an accident at race 2 of Long Beach, unfortunately it wasn't really by his mistake. But it can happen. That's the thing about, touring cars on certain circuits that make it hard to overtake.
Yeah, he did have that, obviously, error. Well, unfortunate for him, but yeah, it was not only that, but of course it's 5 rounds, but 10 races in total. There's 2 races each week, so there is definitely the chance if you can bag some points in to get back through. As we've seen, the championship calendar at the moment, championship standings was extremely close. Points between quite a few people, and now there's only a 10th between pole as Emil goes into P2. He got some good slipstream there from Andre just ahead of him, but Brandon immediately goes a little bit quicker and gets a 2/10 gap. So 2 cars now into the 1 minute 9s with 4 minutes to go. It does look like today's going to be a lot of pack racing.
I would say in this occasion, I think the teammates that we have teammates here should work together to get the slipstream to be placed ahead. On this track, it definitely helps.
Yeah, it wouldn't definitely be an advantage to them to have a bit of help from their teammates. Maybe take some turns. It's not always it's not a bad idea at all. Enough of you to do it as well. There's definitely enough teammates out there to help each other out, so I wouldn't be surprised. Brandon is a lone wolf. out there. So is Robert, of course, Lone Wolf, but he is on the back of a couple of cars trying to get some slipstream around this circuit. It does look there's a few cars that are on their own, but most of them are trying to tail onto the back of somebody.
We have about 2 laps to finish off qualifying. And yeah, also just Marco just getting a better lap now. He is using his teammate as a slipstream.
Purple wheels and purple side mirrors is Marco as he gets past. So just on the inside, but yeah, using his teammate up ahead of him to get a bit of slipstream. Smart thinking from him.
It's interesting to see that teammates using different cars though. He had 2 different Hyundais, but they're on the same team. I think that, you know, practice with the same car would be best for everyone, but maybe I would say touring cars aren't as completely different to drive than a different car of the same class, like the GT3s, which have a different bop like every season. These ones are actually pretty consistent,
Yeah, you would say
which
it
is
is,
nice about touring cars.
it is normally one of the Hyundais that it is. I do see a few Hondas, of course, here and there. A few in the middle, 11th and 12th at the moment, both in the Hondas. Highest Audi, and the only Audi it seems to be Andre as well. A lot less Audis than there were the season before. But yeah, it's normally the Hyundais you want to be with, but it is personal preference a lot with these cars as well. It always spices up and has all 4 manufacturers represented, which is good to see. The car team.
In your opinion, which car does look the best, just visually?
The Velosa, the Hyundai Velosa, I like the look of a lot. So, who's running one of those? I think, yes. I like them a lot. It's them and then the Audi, then maybe Honda, then the Elantra for me. Looks like how the Hyundai Velosa looks a lot. What about you?
I would say, yeah, between the Veloster, the Honda is nice, but I do like the Audi better just because it looks nicer as a touring car, you know?
Yeah.
Looks like the classic touring cars. But the Veloster, I think it should be the best one looking. Because I do like the shorter touring cars, you know, not the Lancer, which just looks huge.
Yeah,
But,
it does, doesn't it? It looks a very long estate car, basically.
yeah.
Remember when the touring car series, British touring cars, had the Hondas that were basically estate Hondas, and they looked really wrong. They were quick cars, but they just looked like someone had added a shed on the back of them for no apparent reason. Mark across the line. Does he go quick? He does. He's not in the 109s, but he's as close as you can get. Those are the cars, 333. So 333. Those are the cars that haven't set lap times in qualifying are permitted to start. They will be fine. They were within 106% rule, so we will have all 21 cars hopefully taking the start of this one as qualifying hits the 15-minute mark and comes to an end. Heat number 1 will be getting ready very soon. First grid for race number 2, but race number 1 as qualifying. So, Brandon will start on pole. Lemil will start P2, P3 for Marco, P4 for Marco as well. So 2 Marcos in on the second row. Marcelo P5, Andrea P6, Dario P7, P8 for Aiden Young. Alex takes P9. Masi I always said that wrong. P10, Steve P11, P12. The man from Gibraltar. Let's go to the next page. P13 for Robert, Jake P14, Paulo P15, George P16, Peter P17, P18 for Kevin, Costa P19, Stefano P20, P21 is Steven.
So all the drives are permitted except number 28, which is Costa. Costa is not permitted to do the start because he did not do the 105%.
Oh, he didn't make it, did he not? That's a shame. Maybe he might have made it for this one. That's unfortunate that he hasn't. Just about. Right then. How long have they got in?
Sorry, but he was talking about it in the radio. I couldn't even hear him, but I just saw he disconnected. We'll have to ask the stewards, or maybe they can post it on our side of the chat, so we know exactly what happened.
Fortunately, he hasn't made that. I thought maybe he might, but Let's just circuit, but that means we do have 20 cars then, not the full 21. That means we will be waiting another 10 seconds before the lights go green. Or this one's flashing in the background. How is this one gonna go? Stefano right at the back, follow him right at the back, see how far he can get here in this first race. 15 minutes race. Let's see how this one goes. Someone says Hyundai Cup. Not quite, but the front are all Hyundais apart from Andrea in the first Audi. Marcelo gets a good start. I think Brandon should be fine. Marcelo is the one to watch, getting a better start than Marco. Oh, he's going to go around the outside. I think we should be clean because it's not really a heavy braking zone till a little bit later on. Still about here. Here's the first very big braking zone. Everyone should be fine here. As Robert goes to the inside, should be about 3 wide here, and I think it is all over the curves for Robert, but I think it looks clean, and it is, as they all make it through the first couple of corners. Andrea up the inside of Dario. Not quite through. Quite through now. Now he's through. Now he's not. Not just yet. Side by side, they will come down the straight. He moves over actually to protect from Steve, which has made quite a few positions up from the start. And he's not able to get through, and I think everyone stays as they were. Robert had a bit of a sideways. Maybe might get attacked from the car behind. Alex there going a bit wide. I think having to pass a car. I think that was Dario that he overtook. As Robert up the inside, there's a car coming flying in and taking his team out. Robert actually gets touched as well. I think that was Stefano that sadly made that mistake and wiped his teammate out in the process. Robert got a little bit of a nudge but keeps going. I'm not exactly certain. They've all sort of settled out at the back here. They've all managed to keep going. I think they have. Stefan hasn't taken the start, so we have 19 cars in total, and that is a broken car. Definitely broken, so that will be broken from the impact of Stefano. Steve and Aiden continuing to swap places. Marcelo defending from Marco up ahead. Not too chaotic, but a little bit right at the end there. I think Stefano has kept going, but I think the teammate he managed to hit is still ahead of him, so I'm not sure what's happened there, but I think unfortunate for one of the cars, Jaden was involved that, well, he's out of the race and it's nothing he could have done about it. What's happening a little bit further back here, there was some side-by-side, but I think they've sorted it. Dario, it was on Alex, and they are still side-by-side now for P9, and actually Dario is through, and now Robert versus Alex for P10. For the door, which is nice racing, but I think Robert might have it. The little bump, but I think it should be fine. Robert may get the run. I think Alex is just about surviving. Marco has lost a place to Andre as well, further up for P5. He's lost a chunk of time as well coming through the first couple of corners. I'm not sure what's happened to Marco, but dropped a place or two. Aiden has got back past Steve as well, just ahead. So it's all kicking off a little bit. We'll see Andre and Marco, they've all spread out a little bit. Not sure. There's nothing on my telemetry for an incident with Marco set, so not sure what happened to him. That's very wide from Alex in the background. Doesn't give Robert a run, and in the background as well, Jake, his teammate, goes extremely wide, and now it has given Robert a bit of a run for P10. On the brakes, Robert's been a bit squirrely during practice and qualifying through there, but the cutback from Alex, he's now going to be on the outside for the chicane, so good racing between the two of them, the opposite of what they were last lap. Can Alex go all the way around the outside? He's going to give it a go. Robert says no, and that's that move done. Robert is through. Now it's post-race penalty for car number 516 for the incident on lap number 1, and that's Stefano, and he's actually gone into the pits as well. Not sure if he's going for some damage repaired, or yeah, possibly, to be fair. I wouldn't be too surprised. Alex goes a bit deep through turn 1. It's going to give the run to the car behind of 181. Not able to do anything into turn number 3. Love for Marcelo in the chat. He is currently sitting P3, 2 seconds off P2. Now, it's a bit of pack racing now. That's what we expected for today. Let's see. It's not as packy as it was last season in the national circuit, must say. There were all together here. They've almost single-filed it out into pairs, it would seem, at the moment. How much the rear brakes get hot through there. It's absolutely lovely. Real balancing act as Jake gets a bit closer to Paulo in the background. If he'll be able to make a move. Yeah, no, not going to make a move there, as Paulo has gone extremely deep, so maybe a run towards the glue, an undercut. To be able to make it there. He's actually got alongside him, but no, it's going to filter out, and he's going to have to fall back behind, up ahead, his teammate Alex, having to defend. Oh, it's a bit of a slide there from Massimo through turn one, kept it intact, kept it on the road. And all good, 5 minutes gone in race number one. Let's have a little look who has made up some ground. So, Steve.
The positions are mostly the same. Steve went from P11 to P8. Robert went from P13 to P10. It's just mostly the positions haven't really changed. And now the gaps are pretty big, but as we can see here, maybe an attempt, maybe he's gonna stick it just back so that he can get it to another corner, or he's just gonna go inside, but bring it down the inside gives the opportunity for the other car on the outside. You have the inside for the next corner, so. Oh, but he did it. He did get through it.
Yeah, through he goes, and in the background, Jake has managed to pass Paulo behind. We'll have a look at that in a second, but Alex may try and fight back. I don't think he'll be able to make pass. We'll quickly have a look at how Jake passed Paulo just behind. Almost the same move, basically, up the inside. Brakes at the same point. Car there. Nice racing, and through he goes. Up to P13. And I've said this, Alex has crashed and he's been caught as well in the background by Paulo, and that's Paulo's car absolutely destroyed, I bet. And it's Alex's car destroyed as well. Yeah, Paulo's front left is probably hanging off, and it's absolutely destroyed. Let's have a look at what happened to Alex as we thought he was done. Does he try and have a look back pass into turn one? He doesn't look like he's going to be close enough to try anything, so does he just lose it? Oh, he just loses it. Oh, and he's going to be
that's bizarre. I saw that happen like that. Oh, yeah.
That's unfortunate
Almost
for both of
collected
them.
his teammates, but yeah, unfortunately the car behind just didn't react for that.
Yeah, but his teammate basically skims him as he goes past, and sadly the car behind, well, none the wiser, not going to know. Paulo, very unlucky. Both of them very unlucky. Paulo, extremely, and there wasn't anything he could do. I think Jake's going to be counting his blessings that he managed to avoid that. But yeah, very unfortunate for the two of them. So those two, well, they can take a quick repair, but they're basically now down and out. They're in 17th and 18th. They'll get back on the track, but they will have to take a bit of a tow as well, which unfortunately, yeah, as you said, a bit spread out, not too close to everybody, but a few gaps here and there. Of course, top 8 get reversed in race 2. So at the moment, Steve would be on pole as Andre just goes across the grass. I'm not sure why his car isn't coming up properly on the graphic for everybody. Is it for you? No, it's not. So I don't know why, but it was in practice. Yeah, it's not coming up as his livery, which is weird, but it was in practice,
okay.
so I don't know why it's not now.
I think. Can you change the car?
Everybody else is coming up. I'll try and sort his one, but I'm not sure.
It is showing. It's just this car in specific doesn't have the delivery, but the others are showing. See it on stream. Anyway, Brandon just made a new fastest lap, so there's no one catching him for sure. Okay, meanwhile, we have some little gaps for P5. Is it enough for us? Maybe. Just need to position yourself really well for the next corners. I mean, for the next straight. Need to get as close as possible for the corner, get the slipstream, and then you can overtake or be side by side for the next corner. But it is apparently really hard to do here. I expected a much better slipstream advantage and maybe a train, but it seems there's like a lot of different. I wouldn't say skills between each drivers, but it is noticeable how some people can corners way quicker than the others, which doesn't give the slipstream advantage enough. Cars can just keep doing better on the corners and it's gonna keep the position. we are 9 minutes in, which is 5 laps to go.
Yeah, the race one going quite nicely. Only one real incident, well, two, but one real one where you can blame one car, the other one sadly just complete racing, spinning, which is unfortunate. But yeah, not much going on at the front. Brandon's managed to get a gap, so with P2, managed to get a gap. Marcelo, not got the biggest gap in the world, but currently sits P3 with Marco chasing him down. Marco, one of the drivers that was quite quick at Long Beach. Same with Andrea, very quick at Long Beach, now in P5.
Winner of Long Beach on race 2 isn't here sadly. Dario.
He's P9.
Is it? Oh, it is! I couldn't see his name. Sorry. It is on the stream. It was hard to read it. But yes, he is here, P9, with one position more, and he can be P1 for race 2.
Yeah,
Maybe...
which, same as last week. He's going to try and get that place.
He should then try and keep that position like he did. He was really lucky, like he had enough for the win, but one more lap and he would be overtaken. But maybe this strike will be easier for him. Who knows? He is getting close though.
Yeah, he's just a second off of Steve at the moment, which Steve will want P8 and want the pole for race 2 because the reverse grid race. Not sure, yeah, we're not sure here, are we? Long Beach was a good chance for the pole sitter on to run away and get the place, but here, not too many overtakes, but there is a lot more opportunity here than there was at Long Beach to make the pass, so there's a lot more opportunity for the likes of Brandon, Emil and Marcelo to carve their way through the grid.
Yes, a lot of space to avoid accidents.
Yes, which is realistically what cost Brandon last week, the fact that just the walls were too close for him.
Yeah, quite close for him. But he's still leading the championship, and I think by big margin too. Let's tell you the points real quick. He's leading by 50 points exactly. In front of Marcelo Reales.
And they're extending that gap at the moment. I'll say not as crazy as the national circuit Silverstone was last season. That was quite a chaotic 2 races. That was, especially the reverse grid. There was a massive pile up down the second straight, but I think it looks like that's not going to be the case again. It was a bit closer, a bit more tight. A few slower corners, I would say, as well at the national circuit compared to it. There's about 3 more corners that are a bit slower compared to here. There's only really the 2 at the end that are the realistically slow corners.
Yeah, mostly, the chicane and turn 4. But the chicane, I would call it chicane. You know, the corners right behind the start finish line. That is a harder corner to overtake, but you should get it side by side. But no one is really getting side by side now, which is fortunate for us watching. But it is sometimes like this, racing. They are still fighting hard, everyone's on their own race. They are all focused and they are still enjoying it.
Yeah, Marcelo.
That's the fun part about participating in a race. You have a lot of fun, especially on this series, which you always have some opportunities for good racing.
Marcelo will be feeling the pressure from Marco behind to try and keep this podium. Marco will want that podium in the next couple minutes, so there's a lot of pressure on these two to not make any mistakes. They'll be feeling the fun of it. Andre got a car behind him as well. He'd want to keep Marco behind him, so lots of racing to be done here for 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th. Still a lot to be lost and won within these next few minutes. Fellow getting cheered on in
The chats.
chat.
Yeah.
Be hoping to stay there and get another podium. Didn't have the best of time at Long Beach, if I remember rightly. Did not have the best of time. He was involved in the incident in the second race. Did him some damage, so he didn't have the best results. It is close here for 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th. They still both got the same sort of gap between each other. We should be now on final lap of the race, I'd say.
Yeah, when we cross the line, it will be the last lap.
Now all the pressure is on him. All he's got to do, this is the closest Marco has been as well, and you can see that Marcelo was driving a bit in the middle of the circuit there. He was aware. Very aware.
And we also see it in the background, 2 cars also having the opportunity to maybe have a pass.
He's heavily defending into Stowe. Is this just going to cost him time as they come to run out the clock? Brandon will be coming across the line soon. It's who? Anyone going to make a lunge? Does Marco go to the outside? He does go to the outside. Can he get any sort of cutback? Marcelo goes a little deep. Marco now is going to go for it. It's going to be a run to the line for the 3rd place. Marco might have it. Marco does have it, and he's going to get it on the last turn. Marco takes P3 on the last lap, on the last turn. And that is extremely unfortunate for Marcelo, but he will take P4 still. Brandon will win. The rest come to the line. Well, it was a close finish in the end for the podium, but that's what I meant earlier in qualifying, where the line is extremely close. We could have some good side-by-side for the finish, and it was good clean racing and a good cutback by Marco to get on the podium right on the last lap.
Really well calculated.
Everybody else comes to the line. Steve will get the pole, by the way, in race 2 as he finishes P8. Peter Greenwood takes P16. Should go to a little bit of a warm-up. Results of that last race. Apparently we can't put up the results of last race for some reason.
Why is it the same custom class?
Don't know what it is, but here we go.
Yeah.
There is the results from race number 1. So top P8 will start pole, which is Steve. Aidan Young will start P2 as well. So that is how they flip over. But a 4-second gap in the end of Brandon. Extremely close for 3rd, but Marco will take P3.
Though Jaden had that accident on, I think it was lap 1, he still finished only 1 lap behind.
Yeah.
So he might have enough pace to now gain some positions. We should see some people on the back that were unfortunate on lap 1 to gain some massive positions. As well, last week also happened. Who was it that gained so many positions?
Yes. Oh, you're right. I think it's P2, to be honest with you. The one who just got P2 in that last race. I think he was the one who managed to make all the headway last week, if I'm not wrong. I think it was. Steve will be on pole now. Might be wrong with who it was. Steve on pole. Aidan Young starts P2. We've got a few seconds to go until we go again. Looks like Stephen Fry has joined us for race number 2. He didn't join us for race number 1, but it looks like we will have 20 cars for race number 2, and we will. So a few more cars, reverse grid. Here we go for the 2nd time today.
Green, green, green.
Who gets the best start? Oh, Andrea doesn't get a very good one further down. Sorry, not Andrea, that's Marco. Andrea does get a good start actually through the middle. Brandon will take Marco in the background. And into P2 immediately goes Andrea in the Audi. Gets good starts to that Audi. Is everybody clean through the first couple of corners? It would assume so. Now into the first braking zone. Does everybody stay calm and collected? It looks a bit chaotic, but I'd say, let's see if anyone's spinning on the exit. It looks all good. Now, for the first time into the next couple of corners, onto the back straight. Cars absolutely everywhere. Ow. Who's where? Marco has been passed by Brandon, or is being passed as they're side by side. That's the brakes there down the straight, I noticed, which is interesting, to allow his teammate through as well. And quite a few of his teammates. I'm not sure if he's got an issue or what, but he's ended up letting loads of people through Marco, including the other Marco.
He got a black flag, that's why.
Oh, no.
He got slowed down.
Oh, he's lost, what, good 5 positions there, having to serve it. And is he still having to serve it now? Because he's still losing positions as people are going around him.
Oh, he got another one just now.
Oh, he's got to have a horrible time. If somebody's gone straight on there in the background, it's not Steven, as it's just absolutely chaotic between a bunch of cars. as it's 3 wide on the exit there. Stephen Fry, George, and I think Alex getting involved. A little bit of contact between George and Stephen, but they've all sort of settled it. No, a bit more as they door to door. I don't think they realised each other was there. A bit chaotic further back here. As they're still a big 3 wide. They are 3 wide through turn number 1. I think some leading on each other is going on there, but I think everybody should survive. Aiden Young has dropped behind Brandon. Brandon already up to 3rd. As it's just about calmed down here further back as they've all stopped being side by side. Aiden Young's being dropped out of positions left, right and centre. He must have had a bad corner and he's just being passed. He was 2nd going into this lap. He's now down to 6th.
Yes, he started 2nd because of the reverse grid.
Next car's everywhere. Marco's got a little bit of a slide on the brakes. He's a little bit of a door-to-door, but everybody survives. That's a bit wide from Andre as well. He's going to be passed. Aiden, if you go wide, everybody's wanting to come through. There's no gaps between anybody here in the first couple laps. You see there, the train of just single file. Steve's got a bit of a gap. He's got a 2-second gap ahead of Marcelo. Marcelo's got Brandon already from P8 to P3 within a lap, basically, right on his tail, and he's already having to defend. And then behind him is just a long train of cars to go through turn number 1 for the 3rd time. Absolutely kettle. Does Brandon immediately try and pass Marcelo? Marcelo will defend into turn number 3. This is helping Steve pull away. Aiden trying to pass Andre in the background, not able to get through. Marco will be all over the back of Aiden now. He's actually passed him through the little chicane as they hit the brakes. A little bit of a tap into the back of Marco there from Dario, but everybody stays as they were. Brandon is on the back of Marcelo. Marcelo defends to the inside. Cars everywhere. Brandon will just try and go round the outside of Marcelo. And I'd say, before the chicane, it's done. But now, can Marcelo do it back to him and go around the outside of him in the chicane? Stefano just passed Robert for P10. He actually does a nice little move there. Brandon sees him coming. A good cutback. Car getting involved in the background of Lemille. But it seems like Brandon's got him. It was a good race between the two of them. It's really close there on the exit. Peter Greenwood has had to jump to the pit, so he has gone off, which is unfortunate, so we have lost a car. Extremely close here for 2nd. Brandon has made his way up into P2. Marcelo's just behind. Mill behind him, and then everybody else behind him. One big train of cars. There's a few. Robert just goes up to P11 and then gets repassed. So he's racing for P11. They're side by side, I think, for P11 further back. Marcelo now has to immediately defend his 3rd place, just like in the last race, but it is still side by side between the couple cars here, and there they are, side by side for P11 and 12. It's chaotic and it's loads and loads of cars. No further action needed between 72 and 42. 42 is Peter and Paulo, and that's why probably Peter's had a bad day at the office. It's Marcelo having losing positions, but not losing positions. There they are, side by side through Stowe. They rub doors. Marcelo on the inside for the hair chicane. It's a chicane, but will Lemille go around the outside of him? Make it done? No, not for now. Now it's a case of how long can Marcelo stay there, really. Brandon was over a second quicker than Steve on that last lap. He's carving out that gap immediately. 10 minutes to go in this race. I think it's a massive ask for Steve to stay ahead of him there. If he can hold him off, he's got this entire train of cars that will be closing in. As up the inside goes Aiden on Andre and through into P5. Absolutely crazy. Let's see the gain after the first 5 minutes in this race. 6 for Stefano, 6 for Brandon, 10 lost for Marco, but that was, I think, due to the off-track. Stevens taken up 6 positions as well. Some big movers in the second race.
And also, we saw Marco losing all those positions, 10 positions, because of the slowdowns he got. He was in a good position at the start, but unfortunately, it is what it is. You should just keep it on the track, even if it might have not been his problem, because he was evading some cars that were right on his ahead of him that he would have hit. So slowdowns can be dangerous.
Oh, a little bit of rubbing there between Dario and Marco just behind. Not any changes as of yet, but some good bumper to bumper through the last corner. There, of course, won the reverse grid race last week, getting P8 at the moment. Very happy to be the first to get a win in his team as well. Bumped him up the order in the championship standings too. It's now only a 10th gap between the leaders, so Brandon's found Steve. Took him a couple of laps, but he's on the back of him. Will Steve defend is the question, because, let's think about this wisely, does he just want to follow him? Does he want some help being pulled along? Up the inside goes Brandon, takes the lead. Steve will be a good result just to get a second, I think, so he'll be happy to follow along, bring him along, try stay away from Marcelo and the following cars behind, as it's absolutely close between Marco. Someone's gone deep there. It's side by side in the end. Andre and Marco continuing the battle for P6. They stay as they are. But yeah, it would be smart for Steve here. Just trying to follow Brandon. Get pulled along by the slipstream to keep his position. He's got 7 real minutes to go.
You lose so much time just fighting with faster cars. Like, both lose time. Instead, you can just use that advantage from catching the car, letting the fast car ahead of you. So just get the slipstream, which is a good advantage for you. Sometimes you really need to pick your fights in racing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He's losing
Steve
time.
chose a good position because now he can keep P3, which is Marcelo behind further. Otherwise, he would be passed much quicker.
Yeah, as we saw, Aiden Young fell a few positions after he was shuffled out. Once you're out of that train and you're caught up, it's difficult to keep it. Many places with a slipstream. Here we go, Marco has another look on Andre. They both slide through the corner, which is lovely. Through Stowe. It's all for P6. A little bit wide from Andre. They give each other nice room on the exit. Almost a carbon copy of the lap before. This time, any changes? No, it stays as it was. And Stephen's actually fallen back behind George in P16. Apparently went off the road and he has actually crashed. It has, fortunate. So it's not been a good day for Stephen and Peter in the same team. Not been a round to remember for them here. Will Marco go for it? He does! Keeps the apex of the corner nicely though. All good racing. Stays as it was as Robert now falls. I say falls, but actually passes Marco for P12. They're side by side with each other, that's why they're passing each other in P12 and P13. So it's lots close racing. Brandon's got a bit of a gap up the front. Steve's been closed in, but he's still got a little bit of a margin back to Marcelo. And another look from Marco. This time, he isn't giving it as much room. They do touch each other. It forces Andre wide. And actually, through goes Marco. He's nearly getting pushed by Andre now into the corner. Marco, I'm sure Andre is not going to be too happy with him there. Marco, oh, he hits the curb massively. Car's all out of the focus, and he will be passed by Dario as well. So Marco, he gave him a little bit less room, but he just gave him enough. And on the brakes, Marco had a little bit of a slide, which caught the rear of Andre's car. Which allowed Marco through. I wonder if Andre kept it on the road or not, because the stewards may look to see whether or not Marco would be forced to give the position back. I'd be too surprised, but if he did keep it on the road, it would be alright, but a bit nasty, but alright. But at the moment, Andre's fallen 2 positions, and Marco up 1. The beneficiary in this would be Dario, which wasn't involved at all, but did gain a place. Look at this train happen. Everyone follow the leader. A little bit of a snake going down the back straight as Robert is still ahead of the other Marco in the background with P12. It's still close for P3, but nothing changing just yet. 5 to go. Minutes, that is, anyway. In this battle, well, P6 basically is not over yet. Arno now in P9. Not the best of days because he started at the back but managed to make his way into the top 10 and is now in race 2 looking to try and make even more progress forward. Just in the back of this queue and has a look. That is Stefan having a look. Not able to do anything.
You know, these reverse grid races are always exciting just because it really mixes up the the drivers. We saw how big the distance would be between each driver on the race 1, but in race 2, everyone's just super close to each other. And I think that's why it works well, this grid. I mean, sure, Brandon still got ahead of him, but you know, he still had a challenge.
He had to work for it. He
And
did
Steve
well.
still keeping P2.
Yeah, he is. 4 minutes to go. And there's a little bit of contact there between Dario and Marco. A little bit more contact will be happening here, but it's all fine. He is still just about keeping P2, but is Marcelo keeping P3? Because he's extremely close, and he is. So that's why maybe Marcelo's not managed to get Steve yet, because he's still having to defend from the car behind. And actually, that's a bit of a look around the outside, or a bit of a twitch. Keep it under control, and he does well. Can you hold of that? As here's the pack of cars continuing for P6, which is now getting joined by Jake in P10 as well. So they're bringing more cars involved in this battle now. Here we go, Snake again to the inside, then back to the outside, back to the racing line. There all go. Breaking the toe. Really close. Absolutely bumper to bumper stuff. This is how I expected the first one to go, to be fair. Didn't quite happen, but reverse grid doing as it normally does, tying up the field and really putting everybody on each other's bumpers.
Also, I would like to note that everyone's still relatively clean to each other, you know? Everyone, not like there aren't accidents that are being involved, it's just everyone being really respectful to each other, not avoiding every single mistake that you can do.
Yeah, it's good racing, clean bumper to bumper touring cars.
But 2 laps to go, we will have to see some overtakes now, overtake opportunities. Just like we saw in the last race or in the last lap, as we see here. Marco having to defend. And is he? Yes, he is. Got through.
Yeah, they're trading places as Robert and Marco have for P12 through the first couple of corners. Robert will defend. Just see up ahead, actually, Andre looked like he was putting a move on. Not able to do anything. It's bumper to bumper stuff again. You actually have to defend here from Stefano, the car behind. Oh, it's extremely close, but everyone gets away with it. Robert in the background, just having defenders. We hit the curb there. On Marco, he stays ahead for P12, so lots happening still. Marcelo only 2/10 behind Steve now, but he's just still got P4 right behind him as well. So that's kicking off for second with a couple of laps to go. Does he have a look? He thinks about it. Steve defends, so the racing's happening absolutely everywhere now. And it's not just one car versus another, it's a pack of cars as well. This P6 battle seems like Marco's got a bit of a gap, so we'll look at how Marcelo's doing, having to defend and attack at the same time. Are we on the last lap? I think we're on the last lap too. We did a little bit of a contact between Marcelo and Lemille again. Well, not again, but again for the final podium position. Marcelo on the last lap having to defend. To the outside. Oh, it's not going to be 2 races in a row when Marcelo loses a podium place on the last lap, surely. Brandon will take the flag.
Steve is loving this though.
Yeah, Steve's loving it. He's thinking, yes, 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 fight, fight, fight. And they're gonna go door to door. Marcelo's still on the inside. Oh, they touch and round goes Lamar. That's gonna be one for the stewards. Aiden will take 4th in the end, so he's not gonna mind. But oh, he's got the back going. Marco's got past him, so he's dropped down to P6 from P4. Stewards will happily have a look. Robert versus Marco continued. I think Robert's just about got it.
That's the curb. Oh, he's kept it. Nice.
And Robert will stay ahead in P12. It was close race all through. Stefano ends up P9, less than a 10th behind Andre as spinning round. But have a look quickly at the...
We need to see that again. It felt like maybe he didn't have space because he was already on the top of the curves, but it is what it is on these kinds of racing. He's just down to the last lap. Sometimes it works, sometimes that can happen. It looked like he went through, but see?
Yeah, that's...
Oh. Maybe he gave more space to evade, you know. hitting each other, but I don't know. It felt like there wasn't enough space, and you always need to keep enough space for the car. But what could Marco do in that situation, Marcelo?
Yeah.
Sad to know.
That'll be a fun one for the Stewards, but that's how P3 went. Luckily this time it wasn't for the lead. Brandon did take both of them. Steve will be very happy with the P2 finish as well. It wasn't the only thing that happened in the end. Robert versus Marco went down to the wire as well. This is it. Marco behind ahead here. Goes a bit deep, does he? Robert around the outside, yes. Oh, they touch as well, but he keeps it straight. We'll see about that one. Marco going back, Robert going back through for P12. All happening right at the end of the race. Because of course it does. It always does in touring cars, doesn't it? Absolutely nuts. As always, absolutely. We get used to in the touring car racing. So that is the results from race number 2. So Brandon somehow has a bigger gap in race 2 than he did in race number 1, but he started further down. But he does take both wins today. Steve will take P2 and he'd be very happy with that. It's what happens for P3 that is the case. Also, there's a lovely Brandon. I will come to you now. You see you on the grid. Look at that. That's what we want. Yes. That's what you want to see. The winner celebrating. Repamar not leaving enough room for 88 and 738. So I think that's not going to change the finishing order from what I can tell. Then, so I think Marcelo will probably. We'll see. It will be up for debate for the stewards through the rest of the week, I'm sure. But for now, Marcelo takes P3, Ed Young takes P4, Marco takes P5, and Limel will take P6 after the unfortunate incident right at the end. Good racing between Dario, which did get, by the way, Andre at the end for P7 as well. Stefano, although he didn't get him, they stayed as they were. It was extremely close, but Stefan P9 and Jake took P10. Lots and lots of good racing up and down the field.
So we're bringing Brandon here for the interview?
If he's there,
he's already there.
He's already there. He'll be extremely happy with that, and we'll bring him in to talk to us. Move to, isn't it? Well, Brandon, you took not only race 1, but you took race 2, and race 2 you actually took by a bigger distance than race 1, even though you started further back.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun there in the second race. I tried to work my way up there. Lots of really great racing throughout the field, and yeah, it was just yeah, everything seems to go well this week. No accidents, no nothing crazy. So yeah, everything just went nice and smooth, and yeah, it was just really fun, especially in that second race.
Yeah, you got through quite clean in the second one, quite quick as well. Did you expect to get through the field that quick?
I wasn't sure. Like it all depends on like if everybody's racing or if everybody's like single file. I was able to take advantage of a few opportunities there. Where like a car would like went out wide or they were battling, and I was able to like scoot around. So yeah, it all depends what everybody else is doing, and it's yeah. Sometimes things just open up and they work to your favor, and I guess that's what happened today. Just in the right place, and was just able to make my way through cleanly, um, and so yeah, that was really fun. I worked my way up through there. Some really great battles along the way, and yeah, that was a really great time.
Next week is at Lime Rock Park. Any thoughts on that circuit?
Lime Rock, that's gonna be a really tricky one. I'm not sure what layout it is. If it's the Grand Prix track, expect a lot of carnage into the chicane there, because only one car can fit through there, um Lime Rock, it's a really tough track to pass, regardless, and so that chicane might be one of the best passing opportunities, and really only one car can make it through there. So
Yes.
that's gonna
It's the
be
Grand Prix. The Grand Prix
Oh,
layout
it's the
this
Grand Prix
weekend.
track. All right,
Yeah.
yeah. So that should be a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, normal Lime Rock. Yeah, it's of course like really tight racing, and um, like anybody's gonna have to take any opportunity they can get to make a pass because it's just so difficult to pass there. So I expect to see some really cool moves going into the chicane, and then if yeah we see passing around the rest of the track, it's got to be like really tight stuff. It's a pretty narrow track, and there's really only like one line you want to be. And if you're on the outside on one corner, you'll be on the inside of the next corner. So um, if two cars get side by side, expect a lot of side by side action, but it's going to be extremely difficult to pass. So yeah, I think yeah we'll see everybody just give the minimum amount of room possible because that's how you have to drive there. It's really tough. So yeah, looking forward to that. It's actually yeah quite the opposite of this track. This track's got a lot of room, a lot of straightaway lime rocks, really compact, and so that should be a lot of fun to watch. So I'm looking forward.
Well, congratulations on your double win today. I'm sure that after what you said there, that Line Rock doing a double there is going to be a bit more difficult. But good luck, of course, for that one.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but thank you.
All right, good racing, quite a wide circuit, lot less action than Long Beach, but still, last lap, a bit of an incident for P3, but I think that's all been sorted. But as we heard Brandon say, Lime Rock's a bit tighter, so what are we expecting there?
Well, exactly. We already knew that they had a big advantage on this championship compared to others. It's just really that good, you know. At the same time, I think we will have more battling because at the start of the grid, the first race we did have really competitive drivers, but apparently they're not racing here, or they didn't participate on this race at least. So that leaves Brandon just really alone for the win.
Yeah, still good racing anyway. But thank you everybody for watching.
It's always not. Also, I have to add, it's not always just fighting for the win. You also have battles on the other positions, which is fine because you enjoy racing others. You don't need to always win. You can still enjoy the racing. Watching a racing besides the top one, it's not always about the fastest drive, but also the ones that do those moves that are safe against the others and also skillful enough to you see that last lap we saw on race one, how he just passed. Who was it? It was I forgot the names now, but he just passed it on the last corner for the P2 or P3, something like that. It was just there's always racing, and you need to look at the racing itself and not just who wins it.
Yeah. Well, Robert has said in the chat that he was very happy with race two and was he said awesome racing with the car he was racing with, which was Marco, which came down to the last lap, last couple of corners for Marco and Robert, and he said he had an absolute great time. So yeah, racing throughout the field, and they all seem like they've enjoyed themselves today. So I hope you enjoyed yourself too, and everybody watching on the stream. We see you next. Well, actually Thursday. Don't forget IMSA on Thursday at Daytona this week. Of course, Daytona's the talk of town this week. Daytona for IMSA on Thursday. Don't forget and subscribe so you don't miss it. Then come back next week on Tuesday for Lime Rock here in the TCR series. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.